Buenas noches. How are you? Professora Malika just checking in on the ETP outline and first draft. What is an ETP? An ETP is an equity teaching philosophy. It is basically your beliefs about how you will teach all children to be successful, especially in high needs schools. And so I have a few resources I want to make sure that you all have seen, to ensure that you're clear on this. Assignment is really for you to think about your approach to teaching students and what strategies you plan to implement in your classroom. How will you value your students' funds of knowledge that they come to you with? How will you celebrate their contributions to the class and the learning experience? What will you do to be a social justice educator? And so part of this paper requires that you become familiar with these concepts and terms if you have yet to experience them. What does social justice mean to you? What is the difference between equity and equality? And how do we remove the barriers from even existing in the first place? And so, for example, my argument as an educator, as Professora Malika, is that critical pedagogy and critical pedagogical strategies are a way to transform and liberate everyone in the process. It changes the power dynamics of a classroom and allows students to lead the learning experience, where the teacher is a facilitator of the learning experience and not an all-knowing expert that talks at the front of the classroom for the entire period. We know research says children, adults, everyone learns by doing, and hands-on approach to education that is also reflexive, that offers problem-posing questions so that young people can feel like they can and must make a difference in their communities. This is a type of education that I, as Professora Malika, stand for. And so if I were to write an equity teaching philosophy, it would center on that key argument, that critical pedagogy is an approach to teaching that ensures equitable outcomes for all students. You develop your thesis and your argument as it relates to who you are and where you are in your thinking about teaching and about students. And you can still say, I'm working on continuing to strengthen this belief in this argument. So again, this is an outline. It can be 1 to 2 pages long. You can use a graphic organizer approach if the linear approach is not for you. I actually always do my outlines in a graphic organizer. That's who I am. It's how I think. I make connections with myself. I make connections with other things that I've read when I'm reading. I make connections with the world. And by making those connections and drawing them out, I can organize my thoughts and then put them into the linear outline format. And so once you do your outline, it's going to be really easy to then transition all the way into your paper. I want to make sure that you have access to all of the resources on Web Campus, including articles related to equity teaching philosophy and just equity in general. Please check the folder. I'll send an email. I understand that Web Campus does maintenance sometimes on Saturday nights, so I am just unfortunately past that deadline, but I will make sure that you all have all of that information. If you need some extra time, by any means, send me an email and we'll negotiate it. Have a great night and see you all soon. Ciao.